Hello there everyone, welcome back to Alpha Tauri. We are about to start round 12 in Hungary. We have a fairly healthy lead here too to Red Bull, so things are looking up. Development wise, we are just doing research, and we'll probably just be doing research until the end of the season. We do have again a fairly dominant car, so there's no reason not to. And we do have some fairly simple regulations this year, which is going to make this even easier. But again, the chassis needs to be caught up on. But we have already caught up on the sideboards, so we can just kind of do balanced research on the things that we need, and we'll probably have an even easier time next season. Now, with that in mind, we've also upgraded our weather center, and revving manufacturer is complete. And I believe our car is basically caught up in terms of parts here. Looks to be okay. Yep, looks fine. Underfloor manufacture is in progress. I would assume this one is too. So yeah, we're basically completely caught up on parts, which is going to make our life a lot easier. And again, we're just going to be kind of powering through here with what we are currently doing. We do have a new regulation mode coming up right now though. So let's see what that one is all about. Revving underfloor, again, basically just caught up on parts. Sporting changes, let's see here. Introducing a higher limit to ERSs. This would be a blessing, so we are of course going to be voting for. And I'm going to be putting my money on it. The AI is saying no. But yeah, that one would be amazing if we could actually just get that one. Because it's probably the best one that there is. Because yeah, we use a lot of parts. But so does the AI. So it'll actually end up making the AI more competitive as well. So it would actually be really, really nice to have. We're going to gamble on one car on the podium. Both drivers in Q3, both drivers in Q2. For extra money. And if we actually do it with finances that we now have, is we could probably upgrade another facility. Now, upgrading the car part test center would come with a little bit of risk. I believe I actually talked, Jesus, a little bit about that last time around, but the chassis here is going to need a new research project. That's 700,000. This one would be basically 2 million here. I think we can upgrade that. I think we'll just max it, and if we lose out on a research or two, so be it. I think it will be worth it. But then again, we don't need to, because we aren't going to be making any new parts until the end of, well, the start of next season. So basically, once we hit November, well, not November 1st, late October, we can upgrade this one, and we can probably upgrade this one around the same time. Yeah, mid-November. So we'll save up money for now, and we'll upgrade these later in the year, because as I said, we aren't going to actually make anything just yet. So there's no reason for us to upgrade these. And basically lose condition while not using them. So we're going to wait until the end of the year to do that. Let's head to Hungary. Let's see how things go here. Ready for Hungary? Unfortunately, this is one of those races during a season where we don't really have any power, so to speak, over how we're going to do it because, well, tire degradation is very high. And as a result, we're probably going to be doing this, but as see, even if we go aggressive on the hard stint here, we're barely going to be able to save some time. So what this basically tells us is that aggressive and attack modes will mainly be used just to overtake. Now Rick's starting 6th, so Tsunoda's starting 2nd, which isn't really, a problem. Not really. So we'll go ahead and just get this race underway. See how we do.
There's a fantastic atmosphere. And here we go with the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Most of the front teams here have pures and mediums. We have a couple of soft runners and a hard runner, so this could be a tiny bit interesting. Tsunoda has already launched an attack there. It was a little bit wobbly, but he has already gotten himself into first, and Rick is, well, still fighting the Aston, but ultimately lost out. So yeah, it is what that is. Now, as I said, we are kind of limited in what we can do here from a strategic perspective, because again, we can't really push these sides too much, so we'll probably tune them down once we get onto that second lap. Now, if we can, however, push away from Ocon, that would actually be beneficial to us. Basically, create a gap, a little bit of distance. It would really be beneficial before we do that first pit stop, so we'll be fine with the current situation as it is. However, we will of course tune down our ERS usage, turn on the battle assist, also tune down tire usage now before we completely burn them to the ground. And honestly, as I said, there's not too much we can do here from a strategic perspective. We just have to try and manage our tires mostly, and that's what we can do. So for now, we'll keep things as they are, and we'll try and move forwards towards the first pit stop. We have the first safety car here. The Alpha's taking advantage. Looks to be a Mercedes, yeah. Merc on Alonso Violence, by the looks of things. And yeah, basically that is most likely a puncture. Damaged gearbox there. Gave him plenty of space, yes. So both Stroll... Oh, it's actually not Alonso, Stroll. Okay, so both of them are out. I don't think we are going to take advantage of pit here. There's not really any point for us, although we did gain a lot of time here, as you can see down to Ocon. It opened that gap up even more. If you're running softs here, maybe, but I think we are just going to stay out. It is a safety car, though, and Verstappen is pitting. If Verstappen is pitting, I guess we can assume that everyone else is also going to be pitting, for the most part. So it's basically, what do we want to do? We could put Tsunoda on a hard time a little bit earlier. Again, running them aggressively won't really have any effect on how much time this takes. But again, this would put us into a position where we might need to do something a little bit cheeky, like running 2 hard sets, which is doable. But as you can see, they're already estimated to be slower than our current tires. But it does open up, you know, possibilities. So... do we really need to respond to AI? Probably not. But then again, it is... we're gonna stay out against my better judgment. We're just gonna stay out. As you can see here, Red Bull, Ferrari, both of them are double stacking. The only one who's staying out aside from us is Ocon. So basically, Ocon is gonna have to be a bit of a shield here, where we can kind of recharge after the safety car. And everyone else has gone on to those hards. Again, don't think they will be able to make those last till the end. But yeah. Gonna be a bit interesting. But then again, everyone pitting there? It's honestly a bit surprising to me. But yeah. We'll have to see what we can do. Again, could have definitely been the worst choice this. But if we can stay with, say, Verstappen after he gets Ocon on these tires, this might still...
safety car in.
This might still pan out to be a good decision. We'll have to see, though. For now, just speed things along, and we'll see if we can retain our position, or if we are immediately going to get eaten up by Verstappen. We almost made this work. Verstappen overtook us, and as you can see, he is immediately pulling a couple of seconds a lap. So yeah, this is going to be... we probably should have just pitted with the rest, to be fair, but... we wanted to try something a little bit different here, and we are going to probably go in the hards here. So for now, we'll just go attack until we do. But yeah, this probably not the best choice I could have done. If the AI pits, you probably should too. But we have a lot of race ahead of us. We could always have another safety car, so we'll see what we do. Now, with that in mind, we will be pitting Tsunoda this lap, and we'll be pitting Rick the next lap. And the only real benefit that we're getting from this now is that we're going to have maybe a bit of free air to run in. But the gaps have already been formed. And as you see here, Schumacher is just way off the pace in this game, just as a general trend. So Tsunoda is going to come out in the back there, yet still ahead of the others. So we'll have to see if we can take advantage of this hards now to actually, you know, get the positions that we have lost back. Gonna be a bit of an interesting one. I think we can run these hards on aggressive, just to, you know, make it a little bit easier to get those overtakes done. So yeah, I think we'll do that for both, and if we need to, we'll just pit on to that second set of hards and even run them attack if we need to. For now, this is what we'll do. We'll see if it pays off or not. Both Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo has actually kind of been flying up the order. As you see, we're currently back up to 6th and 9th. So they have been doing well. But again, we have lost a lot of time to Verstappen just from, well, running behind other cars. So we definitely probably should have pitted with the rest. But they are going to have to at least pit once more. But again, as I said, the gap is probably a little bit too big. We should have just done what they did. So, bit of a shame that we ended up, you know, kind of not getting the advantage that we wanted to. But we'll have peak confidence for probably both of these boys for a while now. We should anyways. Perez does pit, I assume, onto a soft compound, and he did. So yeah, we'll have to see if he can get behind the other cars as easily as we did. Sainz runs off the track there with a little bit of a lockup, helping us out. But Tsunoda is catching up to Verstappen now, and remember, these softs degrade incredibly quick. So even if, as I said, Perez goes onto that soft, that's not going to last to the end. No way. Look at this. This is a normal degradation for the soft tire. They're going to be absolutely gutted by the time we get on them. So I'm very tempted to do something a little bit probably silly, and that is with the hards here, which are about 7/10 slower than the softs. But with the degradation being as high as it is, it'll just take 10 laps before hards are equal to softs. I'm thinking that we're going to do, again, a little bit of a fun move here. We're just going to go full attack for both cars. And once these hards get, well, a little bit lower, let's say around like 50 or so maybe, a little bit earlier than that maybe, we're just going to jump on that second set of hards. Is it going to be super good? Probably not. But can we make it work? I would assume so, but we'll see here. Verstappen has actually done what we were planning to do, jump on that second set of hards. So yeah, he has a bit of a, not even a bit, a big advantage here on us. So we'll have to see exactly if we can, deal with him. Probably not. Victory here was probably thrown away the second I opted to not pit on the safety car, but podium is still within grasp, I feel. Particularly with the fact that Perez, again, is on softs. Leclerc has pitted, he's going to be done. Gas and Ocon are going to have to pit again. So, there's still a lot of things that could happen in this race to make it a tad more interesting.
Okay,
So I think we are going to be pushing these tires a little bit longer. Because right now we aren't actually losing any time to Verstappen. Well, Rick is. Tsunoda just did, but yeah. We're running quicker than everyone behind us as well. There's no need for us to pit, because we aren't, as I said, going to be trying and fight Verstappen here. We are just going to be driving these tires kind of down. Then we'll jump on pressure once, and we'll be doing the exact same with those. So, never mind. Okay. So now that the signs that the chassis and the front wing are out, I would assume that this is him just straight up out of the race. Which means that we have a virtual safety car now that gives us a free pit stop. That we will take, well, not completely free, but free air, which we will now take advantage of. That is very unfortunate, though, for Tsunoda.
Keep following the reference.
Right then, you can take a look.
Let's see what actually happened.
This one is involving Yuki Tsunoda. But oh, they can't avoid making contact.
At least he didn't hit too hard, so I don't think it really damaged his components too much. So that is a positive one. And we get a full safety car. Going on the hard side might not have been... No, actually just kept the virtual one. I thought it went full there for a second. This is not the worst thing that could have happened. We get, as I said, basically not as good as a safety car pit stop. But we get a pretty decent one. Perez is basically on dead softs. Verstappen is on, well, more used hards than ours. Again, Verstappen is probably out of reach, but Perez is within reach for sure. So, yeah, this is looking very promising at this stage for Rick. Very unfortunate, though, for Tsunoda, to be fair, but it is what it is sometimes. Now, Rick is just 6 seconds behind. It looks like he actually gained time under the VSC, and look at the fly with the ERS usage as well. We are basically going to be catching him potentially on this lap if we had enough energy, which is funny. But yeah, basically around 2 seconds gained. 1.7. That's still good, and it's also 2 seconds quicker than Verstappen. So there we go. He pits, which isn't that surprising, and we should be able to just about keep these hards alive till the end. So if we keep this up, Verstappen is also potentially within grasp. So Tsunoda might have died here so that Rick can run. And Verstappen actually pits. Okay, that should be onto softs. That can be dangerous. That can be problematic, but again, he's going to be on quicker tires now until the end of the race. And he's going to be really quick these first few laps. So, yeah, things just became kind of interesting. But at least Rick is getting a little bit of DRS helping there from Bottas. So that does allow us to kind of keep up with them at this stage. I'm thinking that we are going to tune the tires down to aggressive, just so we don't completely overcook them. And right now we are running pretty decent lap times as well, so that is fine. I am just going to speed things up here now, because we don't have any real interest in this. As long as the time doesn't drop down too quickly here, we are still in here with a pretty good chance. Oh, there we go. He's now on the hunt, the attack. Okay, we are going to have to attack now because we lost a lot of lap time that round. I don't know what happened. I was purely looking at the time. I assume a back marker blocked us while Verstappen maybe got a little bit of DRS. Yeah, now we're basically onto the same lap times. Well, with 5 laps to go, I think we are fine though, honestly. I think, unless of course we get completely shafted by back markers on our way. But it is looking a lot more promising. So we'll just speed things up here again. We don't really have anything here we need to touch. And with 3 laps to go, we can just tune him down to standard. Not have him push like a madman. Because even if we're running standard, Verstappen should not be able to close that gap that quickly. So we'll just tune him down a little bit to be safer. And we will remember Tsunoda for his, you know, honorable sacrifice.
And it's a win for Daniel Ricciardo.
Probably should use that as the intro to this series, though. It's a win for Daniel Ricciardo. But yeah, we will take that for sure. Red Bull 2-3 means that they do catch up on us. But for a track where you can't really push your tires too much, this is still a really, really good result. And as you can see, Verstappen put in a 15.8 there. So I guess that was his push lap to get fastest lap. It's when he ate a lot out of our time. But again, we did win. That's all that really matters. And we'll take that. Now with that, of course, we have the Ferrari 4.5. Alpine is actually 6th and 8th. Aston Martin 7th. The other one did, of course, get assassinated. Williams, once again, in the points. Very nice to see. So Verstappen overtakes Tsunoda. 3 points between them now. We still have a healthy, almost 50% lead. So 50%, 50-point lead. So it's not all bad. And we still also have a fairly, you know, decent lead in the constructors here. With 11 races to go, if they maintain that 9-point gain, we're still safe. They're still not going to catch us. So as long as we can keep that up, that's good. Now, with the DHL, Red Bull is being a threat here. So I think we have a good enough lead there too. But again, they could definitely, potentially catch up to us. Decent chunk of money here. We did the qualifying position streak done. Of course, we didn't get fastest lap because, well, Red Bull kind of snatched that one. But that is okay. Chassis research complete. Beanie improves as a race engineer. And I had a couple comments on it. So basically I said that I don't know what to focus on here. Composure is probably a really good bet. There's been a couple of comments that says that. And basically, more composure means that your driver loses less confidence. And at the same time, they gain more confidence from events. So having a decent composure stat is probably not a horrible idea. So yeah. Feel free to upgrade this one. Again, these two basically affinity, setups, race confidence. So do the one that you feel most comfortable with. But again, I'm not too worried about it. I wouldn't splurge on engineers. But then again, we have a 38-year-old, we have a 36-year-old. That's pretty young. Same with the sporting director here. But we'll have to see what we do with these two guys. Because they, again, did sneak in some basically years into their contract that was not intended to be there. Okay, chassis research, the regulation changes, and of course it got voted down by... My poor souls, who has done this to you? Yeah, that's sad. That's the second time I've seen that, and it's the second time that it has been voted down. So, we're going to need to make some chassis here, front wings, and a rear wing by the looks of this. So, let's just go ahead and replace those on the car. And we'll do the same for this one. And we're going to manufacture 2 ones right away, because we're kind of going to have to here. And for the front wing too, we will install on both cars. We'll manufacture 2 new ones. And at the same time, we are going to get that rear wing to replaced and manufactured. Because as I said, We're not going to be making too many new parts, if any at all, because we are research focused at the moment. So, yeah, we're not going to be bothered with that. Now, chassis is going to be the one that takes the biggest hit. So, I'm thinking that we are going to put in a safety period here, just to kind of make up for that. We kind of have to. So, this is what we're going to be going for. About an 8% increase in both of these, 5% energy cooling. Again, doesn't matter how we move these around. They'll still be as if everything was in the middle. Once we press go. And we do get some improvements here for next season car. So again, we'll definitely take this. It's not necessarily a bad thing, although again, that time could probably be better spent elsewhere. But for now, we'll just focus on getting the regulations kind of caught up with. Railway replacement has been manufactured, which is good. And Murphy has low morale. Again, that's what happens when you sneak in extra years into a contract where you get punished. For Belgium here, fastest lap could be possible. We'll just gamble on that. We can just put them alternating strategies when one of them does, as the soft stint last. And that's probably also safer to do. So, yeah. Both drivers in QT, and basically both of these are both drivers in Q3, so that is fine. And with that, let's jump to Belgium, see how it goes. Just a quick look at before we go though. We have plenty of money on our cost cap, so again, we're going to do research, and we're going to see where we stand towards the end of the season. Sprint quality did not go great here. We qualified 4th with Rick, but 8th with Tsunoda, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's what it is. A couple of penalties here for Hulkenberg and Albon. Albon's penalty is, I believe, quality related. He had a bit of an incident. Not the best setups here, but still, they're acceptable for Sprint, for sure. So, I think we are looking good here. Now, we do need a new ERS for Tsunoda, but we're not going to take it during the sprint weekend. Sprint weekends are kind of weird right now with penalties, because the game wants to apply the penalty to the sprint, but the penalty won't actually apply to the sprint, if that makes sense. So you can basically skip penalties currently by getting them before the sprint. They're supposed to apply for the race. The game tries to apply them for the sprint, but doesn't actually have an effect on you. And well, it doesn't really apply the penalties. If you need to switch paths, you can do it for free, virtually at sprint weekends. But I assume this is going to be an easy fix. It's just basically, gaming right. Now, for Tsunoda here, this is going to be probably a pretty bad race, because as you saw, that engine is 50%. The ERS is already damaged, so this engine will get damaged once it goes below 50. So Tsunoda is not going to have a good time this race, but it is basically halfway through the season. We need to use these parts somewhat efficiently. I really, really hate buying extra engines when I don't need to. So we are going to be stretching these parts a little bit further than we probably should. Same here for Rick. He's probably going to hit yellow with this gearbox during the race, but again, it is okay. Now, we could go straight up red here and actually go kind of attack. So I think we are going to do that. We're going to do soft tires, and we're just going to do them a little bit cautiously. Do what we usually do in the start, which is push, attack, deploy for the first 2 or 3 laps, and then we'll just settle in. Run, probably, try and make up some positions. If we can't, we'll just take it a little bit chill and get up there as we go. But again, the thing with the penalties, sometimes I've had them apply, sometimes I had them not apply, so it's kind of weird. I think it has to do with when you pick them up during the weekend. So keep that in mind. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's every time. So there's something weird going on there, honestly. And I know that I just recently had a error with Alfa Romeo. So if I am making mistakes, feel free to call them out, honestly. If I say something wrong, make a mistake, call that out, because I am not in the business of trying to spread misinformation. So if I make an error, please tell me, and we'll all be happy for it. So Tsunoda did not have the best start here. It's down to 9th already. Everyone is running soft tires. Rick, though, has done well. He's held on to his position. That should make life a little bit easier for us. But yeah, the powertrain damage here is going to be flashing throughout the entire race. But we'll deal with that as we go. So, the strategy, as I said, is just going to be we're going to kind of sit around. There's going to be some stretches in this field as we go. And those stretches are most likely going to cause, you know, some DRS gaps, hopefully. And we'll try and take advantage of those DRS gaps to get ourselves into a more promising position, so to speak. Rick is already actually making a bit of a move here. Well, he tried, and I was a little bit too late there. But yeah, we'll speed things along here. Red Bull is kind of already pulling away from that DRS gap. We kind of need to stick with them if we can. But for now, we are going to be doing, as I said, we're going to be tuning down tuning down both fuel and tires to aggressive. Aggressive should be good enough that it'll last to the end. And we will be making moves when we given the opportunity here. We'll have to see if the Red Bulls do detach the Leclerc. That will give us a good chance. And we are going to try and get Tsunoda as well as high as possible. So I'll be working on that. And we'll see where we're at in about 15 or so laps. For once, I'll remember to go to neutral. So yeah. Let's keep this going and see where we're at. Tsunoda has had a bit of a spin.
Yeah, I'm good.
So yeah, basically now a recovery drive from him. And we are going to do this. Just to be on the safe side here because he has no confidence now.
There's the opening.
He even had a good move into that spin. Well, he spun later on the finish straight, so good move before it. But we're going to tune him down just to be on the safe side because, well, the chance of incident has gone very high. And we'll kind of have to probably micromanage him a little bit to get overtakes done in a safe manner. But with the car that we have, it should be no problem to overtake Schumacher or, you know, any of these back markers here. There are gaps to work with, so that should be a little bit easier. Now, Rick is falling behind Leclerc, so we'll have to see what we do with that. They could, of course, still be pushing their tires, and they kind of are. So, this is all right by us, honestly.
2 cars out.
Virtual safety car, Verstappen has hit Perez, or Perez has hit Verstappen, by the looks of things. That is making things a little bit easier for us.
What the is this?
Yeah, that's not a good one, honestly.
And you can just feel.
Either of them out, though. Paris, both of them are out. Okay, that's going to suck for Red Bull, then. That is hugely advantageous for us. But that's going to suck for Red Bull.
So, virtual safety car.
The fact that we get
Okay,
tire saving right now does give us an opportunity to run attack on the restart. But I think we'll just stick with aggressive for now. We do, maybe as I said, want to run attack, push, just so we can catch up with Leclerc and stay within the DRS there. Before Tsunoda, for instance, now we'll have a really, really easy time potentially with extra fuel, with extra energy, everything. As you can see, we have a neutral, they're still recharging. Actually, potentially, get something going here. So 10 laps to go. We do need to kind of chase down Leclerc. So for Rick here, we are going to just push everything with the goal of catching Charles.
And you can pick up the pace.
So we'll see if we can pull that off. For Tsunoda, again, it's basically just a recovery drive. We're going to have to try and get as high as possible. And we're going to wait probably a couple more laps before we go full attack. For now, though, using fuel and energy should be enough. And Rick has closed in on Charles again. So what I am thinking is that if we just save a couple more laps, staying kind of behind, we might be able to pull a attack here, but we'll have to see if we can, as I said, stay with him to the DRS zone. We're probably going to be fine. So Noda has gotten his first overtake done, got a little bit of confidence back, but we're probably going to need another one before we can, you know, tune him up. So yeah, we'll deal with that as we go. But Rick now is potentially in a position where we can try and launch a bit of an attack here, try and run away from Leclerc. That's going to be difficult though, because we do actually have signs within distance now, but I think we are going to just try and do this. Get the overtake done, and then try and run away, so to speak. Yeah, we do have a straight line deficit on Ferrari, of course, so that's going to be a little bit harder. Might just be best for us to actually just stick with them, honestly. Because right there, Rick was having problems getting the moves pulled. We'll give him one more attempt, and then we'll just shut him down if we can't do it. And we'll try and play it a little bit safe. Try and see if we can do an attack in the last few laps, maybe. So yeah, Rick is not having a good time here trying to pull that off. We'll save about 300 grams of fuel. That should give us enough for a couple of push laps towards the end.
I'm an idiot.
Tsunoda locks up, causing himself more pain. It is what it is, though.
So we're heading now into turn 5. And the car fails to respond.
I guess we should be happy there that Tsunoda didn't actually take out Hulkenberg, honestly.
No DRS available, no DRS available.
So I think we can make this work on aggressive, but it's not. Yeah, we can make this work on aggressive, but it's not going to be pretty. So Tsunoda is going to have he's going to have his work cut out for him come race day for sure. But we are just a few laps out now. Speed things up a little bit. Might as well just show you the entire thing. And we'll have to see what we actually do with Leclerc, because we do want to launch an attack. But we are kind of struggling with, you know, overtaking. For now, we'll just sit where we are. And the confidence here...
Okay.
Yeah, the confidence is getting into a problematic situation.
Let's
Rick with a
take a look
spin
at the
as well.
Now this was at turn 1. Oh no, that's not how to do it. And that won't do anything to help those tyres.
Yeah, that's not a positive one. Are we still in 4th? Yeah, we are. So it's not a horrible loss, but at the same time, to go from potentially fighting for the win to that, it's gonna be a bit sad. Now, catching Science, I think, is kind of a pipe dream, but I think we'll just deploy energy here, go full attack, and see if we can pull something, you know, out of the hat. Also, Noda, with this performance, we're probably going to take penalties. Basically, get the ERS, get the gearbox, just take the penalties for those. I'm thinking. It might just be for the best to do like that. Poor Ricky, getting 2 signs is probably a little bit too much to ask on the last lap here before the ERS zone. He's going to have a tough time. Tsunoda, okay, Tsunoda, I actually forgot his fuel. This is going to be super bad. Tsunoda's actually going to run out of fuel here and DNF because I paid attention, a little bit too much attention to Rick here. That is a big yikes moment from me. We're going to toggle both of these in the hopes that it makes him use less fuel. So that he maybe makes it to the finish line here. Just maybe.
Okay, we'll take the flag.
But yeah, he's going to run out here now. Oh, is he making it just barely? He made it over the line. But yeah, that was my bad. But Tsunoda wasn't getting anywhere anyways. And I was a little bit too focused on Rick. So yeah, tunnel visioned. It's been unfortunate, but we did have errors for both our drivers here. Luckily, no damage though, so we'll take that. And as I said, for Tsunoda here, we might as well just take penalties, considering how far back he's starting. So I think what we're going to be doing here is, for the race itself now, I think doing it like this should give us the penalties. That's the thing. We are still going to be running damaged part here. But I think we will, as I said, eat that ERS penalty, because we're going to have to at one point anyways. So let's just take it right here. And hopefully this will actually give me the penalty for the race. Although we are starting pretty far back, so it doesn't really matter too much for that. But hopefully it will. And we've got everything kind of on lock here. Now, strategy-wise, probably going to want to run something like this. Yeah, we can run that on full attack. 2-stopper. Should be about 36 seconds quicker than the original strategy. And again, attack is just the best option, unfortunately. It is the best way to run races, because right now it seems like tire temperature mainly just accelerates tire wear. So if you have a high smoothness to the point where you can kind of just, you know, completely counteract that, you can run super attack strategies. Of course, there's some tracks where degradation is still pretty high, where you can't do this, but most tracks this is just going to be the best strategy. And again, I'm hoping for a rebalance where just crooking your tires, you know, little, medium, and high, it's going to be a little bit more punishable. Like, basically, the drops that we see at like 5 to 10 degrees overheating, or rather maximum overheating, should be probably what we're seeing towards the high end of moderate. But I think that might be a bit hard to balance for the AI potentially, so that is why they've opted to do that as they have. But I would like to see it in an update on that. So we are going to get a penalty here. Starting 16. Let's see if we actually start last.
We've got... Get ready. It's the Belgian Grand Prix.
Okay, so as long as we take it for the race,
And it's
penalties are
lights
fine
out,
to take and,
away
you know,
we
get
go.
applied for these races themselves. Yeah, we're going to have to be running this engine for a while, unfortunately. Now it looks like Rick is getting some moves made already into the first corner, which is very promising. And we do have a bit of a tire advantage over Leclerc, but not Alonso. So this could be really, really good. Tsunoda, however, is going to have a lot of, you know, cars to deal with. That is going to be a bit more annoying. Right now, it looks like he's doing well, although Hulkenberg is kind of boxing us in. So the plan is fairly simple. We're going to be pushing these tires as much as possible. And we're going to be trying to get Tsunoda up where we're at. We're going to be working with Rick. And we'll see if we can get ourselves some good points here. Since Red Bull had, you know, a pretty mediocre start. We'll see if we can have a bit better improvement than they have. So I'll focus on managing Tsunoda. We'll see if we can get something out of this. And hopefully we'll have a good race here with no more incidents. But that might be a bit too much to ask. We'll see though. I'll probably be back around the first pit stop unless of course something happens. Rick has picked up a bit of a lockup here, which is unfortunate because he's now falling down the grid.
Heading into turn 1. Very heavy on the brakes, and they ended up their own passenger.
I am a bit surprised with that he actually has struggles recovering to the point where he is still just parked here. This is frustrating to watch, honestly. Because he was running in third, so there were gaps here that he could have entered the track on.
Okay.
But it is what it is. We'll just have to try and deal with this. Tsunoda is now ahead of him. We have a virtual safety car.
Two cars out, a lot of debris.
He has crashed this time around, but yeah, that was kind of frustrating to see. It's Perez. Kind of the same one we saw in the sprint, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, the question that we have to ask ourselves is, do we want to take advantage of this, safety car to pit? So virtual safety car to pit. We'll save about 9 seconds if we do. And for Rick, it might actually be valuable to do that, get him on the mediums. But at the same time, I think it's better to just stay out and run attack. We'll see what the others do though, and maybe, you know, react a little bit. But yeah, that lockup was fairly unfortunate from our side. But
Close to zero.
yeah, we'll have a bit of a work to catch back up, but I think we can make that work. Make it work, hopefully, because well, we kind of have to.
Safety car ending.
Yeah, we shall push and we shall deploy for both cars, and we might have to take some risks here, move them up. For Rick here, though, we're going to have to try and regain some confidence before we do that. For Tsunoda, we're going to tune him up to high, and we already have, so that is good. So yeah, Tsunoda, Rick, we're probably going to have to play this a little bit more aggressively than we might want to, but that is just how it's going to have to be now. And for Rick, he's just going to have to push these tires as much as they can. So I'll be working this. We'll see where we're at on the first pit stop. So getting really closer to that pit window. I'm thinking that we're actually going to just get Rick in immediately. Because, well, he's going to be running out of time pretty soon. We're also going to tune down the fuel usage here, but we have, this should probably be more than, we'll probably end up with more than this. We'll probably end up back on the positive side is what I'm trying to say. For the end of this race, I wouldn't be too worried. Now, Tsunoda has done good headway here. We're up into 11th. Rick is 15th, kind of stuck by Albon. Tends to be a recurring theme here in this game, getting stuck by an Albon. But Tsunoda is kind of having trouble with Verstappen, being a little bit, attacky. And as you can see, we are kind of running duos, which, you know, makes life a little bit difficult in terms of overtaking. So it is what it is. But yeah, we might just pit Tsunoda here as well, and we will. Just pit him onto a fresh set of mediums. And the free air here should actually help us out because, well, a lot of other soft runs are going to be pitting fairly soon. The mediums are going to be out for way longer, of course, but getting the free air here is going to be helpful. The main problem would be that if we get stuck with Rick, because he still does not have the best confidence. So we'll see exactly how we deal with that. But for now, we have some free air. We're going to be working our way back up. And I don't think it will take too long to get up there either. We're going to make this work somehow. I am tempted though to allow Tsunoda to go instead of Rick here so that they do not fight each other too much. But as you can see, overtakes aren't too problematic right now. Give Tsunoda a little bit of help here so he doesn't lose too much confidence. And as I said, we will be moving our cars up as high as possible. Let's see where we're at the end of the race. We have another virtual safety car here. We've actually made it up to 5th and 6th right now. Most cars have pitted though. That isn't too surprising. Let's Verstappen involved this time. That's been taking out the gearbox of Russell. So both cars out. That is potentially good for us, but I don't think... Is it worth it to pit under this virtual safety car? Is it worth it to pit? I think Gasly is going to pit for sure. We could try and take advantage and go on to, you know, our final stint. But I don't know if us running slow on that stint, because that's kind of what we're going to have to. We're going to have to run a tad bit slower to make up for going on earlier, which means that we're going to have to run it aggressively. We'll lose about 7 seconds from the original strategy. I believe this does not take into consideration, you know, VAC times. But I think we're going to have to stay out here, honestly. If it had been a couple laps later, we could have made something work here, but it's, again, it's just 4 or 5 laps. The softs are quick for about, as you know, about 10 or so laps quicker than the mediums. So with that in mind, we're not going to be pitting immediately, but we will be pushing fuel, of course. We will be deploying, and we'll try and get some gaps here to the cars behind. But again, Ocon, Gasly, both have pitted onto softs, so they're going to be a bit of a threat here. And these guys up front here probably aren't going to pit, so we're going to have a hard time catching any of them. And our fight is most likely going to end up being with Ocon and Gasly towards the end here. So we'll push, and we'll see where we're at by the time we get to that final pit stop of ours. I think we're going to start pitting on this lap, so we're going to get Rick in first because he has the lowest well, durability on his tires. We are going to be falling pretty far back again, but I think we can make up for it, hopefully. And again, the goal here will be to try and catch Gasly and company. So Rick didn't actually end up too far back. Might need to recharge a little bit to get the overtakes done here. But he is second now in that DRS train. Overtake should be pretty simple and straightforward for him. Now, where exactly does Tsunoda come out? Tsunoda comes out cleanly ahead, so we'll take that for sure. Meaning that we now have clean air to hunt down Ocon and Gasly. They do have a little bit of a gap on us, just 6 seconds though. So with us running attack and they being a little bit older mediums, sorry, softs here, we should be able to catch them no problem, I think. So we'll keep things moving. We'll see where we're at. In terms of lap times, we are running 42s. They're running 43.5. So we're gaining a second a lap currently. We're gaining on the cars in front as well, but just too much of a distance to catch in 7 laps for that, unfortunately. 4th and 5th is going to be the goal here. Interestingly enough, Tsunoda is actually running incredibly quick here, mainly due to, of course, DRS. But also the fact that if he keeps this up, potentially we will have a chance to attack Sainz on the final lap. But that is going to be, you know, a bit of a stretch, I think. And it's going to require us to keep on chipping off that 3-second lap, which is going to be, yeah, nigh impossible. So there was hope, but I don't think it's going to be, you know, fulfilled. Both our cars though have just run by the Alpines. Not really a contest in any way, shape, or form. And 2.5 seconds. It's going to be close. We're going to, as I said, probably catch up. But once we turn off the ERS usage here, probably not going to make that happen. But we'll see. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. Now Rick has, as I said, gotten away from the Alpines, so we don't really need to worry about that either. And I'll be a little bit careful here with fuel usage because, well, I do have a tendency to run out. But yeah, if we didn't have the incidents here, probably would have an easy victory, honestly. But yeah, sprint incidents, race incidents kind of pushed us onto having a bit harder, but honestly a bit more interesting race. And honestly, this is still a big win for us getting 4th and 5th in this race because, well, the Red Bulls decided to, you know, crash out. So that means that no matter what we finish here, it's going to be a net gain versus the Red Bulls. And we'll take that. But yeah, Tsunoda here was definitely close enough that he might have been able to fight for second if we had been a little bit cheekier. Probably pitting under that that last VSC might have been the play. But it is what it is. Tsunoda makes it 15 places. Rick loses one. But then again, he did get pushed, you know, behind Tsunoda at one point due to locking up. But we'll still take this. It's still a good race. Now, Drivers' Championship here. Again, we do have a fairly healthy lead. Leclerc moves up to 4th now. Tsunoda is back up in 2nd. And this, well, certifies the lead as being better. More dominant. So yeah, we don't really need to worry too much about Red Bull. Alonso score points for Aston. Ferrari 1-3. The Alpines, good points for them. Williams in 8th with Show. Norris and Stroll to finish it out. So Aston is still 4th. Alpine still 6th. But Williams have now overtaken McLaren, so we'll see how this fight goes. That is probably the only interesting fight we have left. Unless Alpine decides to really, really sharpen their fangs and go after Mercedes. We did have the best pit stops here by a little bit, which is good. But I assume Red Bull is going to catch up to us soon enough. So yeah. What was happening? I assume the performance was good and everything but the sprint. But again, that is a result of making an error. The finish position streak failed it because we, of course, finished outside of the podium. Should probably switch that to top 5 just to be on the safe side. Suspension research has completed. We have manufactured the front wing. Tsunoda is now 85 rated. And the board has a little bit of a board review for us here. So we are doing on target for performance. We have beaten a long-term objective. They're giving us 1.5 million for our trouble. So I think we're looking good here. Feature race, Behrman wins, Crawford, Fittipaldi, 2nd and 3rd, Colette, Boya, Barnard. And we have one piece failing in the side pod. So we're just going to go ahead and replace that and manufacture a new one immediately. And again, since we have summer break now, it's not actually any concern or anything like that. We did have some research complete for suspension, I believe. And honestly, we're probably just going to research the suspension again. Because it has fallen a little bit behind. And this is a acceptable way to use our time, I think, for next season. More sponsorship obligations. Honestly, I don't think they're worth anything, honestly, so we're just going to deny it. Basically, you can add more sponsorship obligations to your, you know, thing here. But let's check finances. Let's check the sponsorships for the Memorabilia Room event. As you can see, it's 126,000. So they pay less than, well, 10,000 per use. So basically, the morale boost will be paused. We're going to be having that for, you know, every race. But we can see if that will actually improve the finances as well. So let's just double check here. What is it at right now? That's not where I want to go. It's at 126. 126 on 20 would be about 6,000-7,000 per. No, it would be between 6,000 and 7,000, yeah. Probably on the low side, about 6.2 maybe. So let's say that it's 6.2 and we should have about 18,000 more money after accepting this. So let's approve. And we'll see if it actually, you know, updates immediately. It did, and it actually did update the money. But as you can see here, it improved to 24 days. So that is, yeah, that's an interesting one. We have now more Memorabilia Room events than we have race days. So yeah, that's worrisome, but just add a bug ticket because, again, shouldn't be too bad. If we had 126, we should got about 18,000 more. So we should actually had about 144. Which means that I do actually get paid for that extra day when, you know, I assume it's not used on race day though. That makes more sense. Ah, that's my bad. It's not used on race day, so you can't actually schedule it for more than, 23 days. But yeah, it is what it is though. Wonder if we get paid more if the memorabilia room is higher level. That would be an interesting one for sure. Because our memorabilia room should be pretty bad because I haven't focused on it. Yeah, it's low condition, it's level 1. Honestly, I'm tempted to just upgrade this once. It's 500,000, so it's not super expensive. Let's upgrade it once to see if that actually has an effect on the sponsorship cost. Because that could be interesting. I don't think it will, honestly. But it's one of those things that are fun to test. So we'll go ahead and do that. Front wing research complete. Rear wing, front wing. I think we'll do one more front wing, then maybe a rear wing. That should be okay. Now in terms of money, where are we actually at right now? Cost cap is 50 million, so we still have plenty of money left. We are halfway through the season, basically. And car development, we'll have a look at that again once we get close to the race weekend. Board confidence, high confidence, development update. So Tsunoda getting 2 points of smoothness here is actually pretty great. 1 point of cornering. Rick's still developing here, getting smoothness as well, but Tsunoda is getting to the same rating. And I need to, again, start remembering Lawson. I didn't do him for the sprint, but because, well, it's a sprint weekend, it's kind of harder to implement him. And apparently Red Bull is going, aggressively. So they're upgrading their HQ. I assume this is supposed to be the building that is getting upgraded. Car park test center they're upgrading right now. So you can actually kind of get a look at what they're doing. And they do intend to be world champions, so they'll be coming for us. Our training schedule here is probably going to be a bit harder. We do need to fix those errors. Apparently we have maximized car building. So yeah, we'll be focusing on pit stop drills for the foreseeable future, I think. That should fix any problems that we have. I think we'll be ready to, well, not ready. I think we'll back to about minimum on the error chance here, and we already are by the race start here in, Sandvort, Italy. So we actually have that done. What I'm thinking that we do then is just add some gym trainings, add some car building, because again, oh, we're actually not maxed on speed. That's fine then. We should have added gym trainings earlier. Yeah, I should have actually paid attention to that and seen that. But we're not actually maxed on the pit speed, so we'll get that fixed before the race, hopefully. I think we're at our max now, though. Yeah, we are. We got that fixed before the race itself. But I think our boy might have leveled up. I know that I'm a little bit all over the place, but the heat is doing a number on me, which is, I know, a bad excuse. But it is honestly a problem right now. It is incredibly hot for where I live, and I'm not handling the heat well, so I'm sorry for being completely all over the place, not completely in my right mind, so to speak, making silly errors, making mistakes, doing wrong calls. But this is what we're going to do with the pit crew training. They're going to get a little bit of extra weekend rest here, although they don't really need to because, well, it's not a race weekend. So we'll do this, and then we'll see what we want to do next weekend. This should be balanced enough that we can, of course, minimize errors, while at the same time keeping these two stats maximized as well. So we'll take this. We will take that for sure. And I don't think the Sporting Director leveled up. I think it's just me being silly. Crew getting a little bit rusty over summer. Okay, memorabilia room up complete. Let's have a quick look at the sponsorship, because it would actually be interesting if you got more money from this, dependent on, how many how high level your memorabilia room was. So it's about 6,002, 6,003, I think, in terms of how much it costs. I think we'll keep the room at level 2, and we'll see for next season, because I believe this is one of those that are kind of locked in for us. So we'll see what it is going to be like next season. If it's going to be more, because the memorabilia room is actually one that does not cost you anything for your cost cap. So it's basically just how much money you can have in the bank. It's going to be a problem. Now the helipad being kind of, bad. We're going to need to refurbish that. Extra money and all. Sideboard research has been completed. Let's just check it, because I believe it is, again, chassis. Catching up on that. Sidepod has already been caught up on. So again, research this year is mainly just going to be kind of get the balance back up for the car. To make it a little bit easier next year. So I think we are going to do another sidepod research here. There's just no reason not to. Boosting it as high as we can is going to help us in the long run as well. We are going to have a new ATR period in a month. And exactly where we're going to put that, I'm a little bit unsure. But we'll probably figure it out. Helipad has been refurbished, which is very, very good. Hamlin levels up, which is also really good. We do have a gearbox in poor condition, but that is fine. I can, of course, fire the scouts and find the engineers. But I feel like it's better to just keep them on for now. They don't contribute too much to the cost cap over the season anyways, about $1 million in total for both of those, so that is not actually a problem. Murphy has lower morale. I know, we get this a lot. He's not really happy with being here. And chassis research has completed now, which should actually make things a little bit better on that end. But the chassis is getting hit really hard, so I'd like to do some more projects on that. We're probably going to be running chassis projects till the end of the season, for sure. And yeah, we'll have a few ones coming up in the near future. Yeah, I don't know if the chassis has been updated. It hasn't, but if I remember, we've put CFD time in. So I think both drag reduction and airflow has been, you know, minimized in terms of what we're getting as a loss. But we might put in a CFD period more here, just to, as I said, cash that up. We could also do the same here maybe for suspension. But again, we'll have to see what we think is best, what I think is best, because right now I am a little bit uncertain, honestly. And that's actually kind of nice in this game, that you're actually uncertain of what might be the best way of using your time, because that means there are more than one, you know, option, which is nice, honestly. Now we have Netherlands up next in just a couple of days, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut this short so that I get enough sleep to get up early tomorrow. Just got a call a little while ago that the person who's supposed to have the early shift tomorrow has become sick, so I'm gonna have to, you know, deal with that, handle it. Probably gonna have to take that early shift myself, so it is a bit of a pain, but it needs to be done, so it is what it is. As said, I'm sorry for the short episode here, basically just Spa and then the summer break, but I'll try and make a few longer episodes this weekend to kind of make up for the time we lost this week. But again, I am back at work. It is going to limit my, you know, recording capabilities, because I have work and I still have some other things I need to do. So it is what it is. We'll deal with that as we go. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. And as I've said a little bit earlier, if I do make errors, with an example is Alpha, where I foolishly thought I'd been, you know, scammed by the game. It was actually me making an error and blaming the game for it. So if you see anything like that, do let me know. And again, I have been a little bit all over the place here. So if you see an error, again, please let me know. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. Hope to see you around next time. And big thanks to all of my my members. Bye bye.